As a young citizen of India, armed with technology, knowledge, and love for my nation, with a vision of transforming India into a developed nation, I'm joining Shobhit University. What about you?
Very good morning to all the participants from India and abroad. Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology, Meerut, deemed to be university, and its centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, in association with African Asian Rural Development Organization, ARDO, New Delhi, organize this weekly international webinar series on open source digital technologies towards self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. Today is the 91st edition of the webinar series, 10th September 2022. On behalf of the Honorable Chancellor, His Excellency the Secretary General ARDO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, the faculty members of the university, and on my behalf, and as Professor Emeritus and Chairman of Centers of Excellence, Center for Agricultural Informatics and E-Governance Research Studies, and Center for Agribusiness and Disaster Management Studies, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Applications, and Center for Health Informatics and Computing. Let me welcome our guest speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Basavaraju Shreshta, Executive Director, Grassroots Research and Advocacy Movement, Mysuru, Karnataka, on a very important topic, We Mill, a social business initiatives for rural women. I wish to inform the participants and the speakers that University regularly conducts two webinar series, weekly webinar series, namely National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, Atmanirbhar Bharat in Agriculture, and every Thursday, and International Webinar Series on Open Source Digital Technologies towards Self-Reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on every Saturday. Agriculture and digital technology is the core theme of these two webinar series of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and Technology. Under this international webinar series, the two centers of excellence, Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Application and Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application, have organized 90 talks on various important topics, which has generated a lot of interest among startups, NGOs, research scholars, and related industries and the policymakers. Open technology to provision simple and economical IT infrastructure. A roadmap for students using free and open source software and reaching goals of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Open source software and industrial IoTs for SMEs. Free and open source software adoption. Public business models. Open data platform for smart digital government. Technology imperatives make in India for self-reliance. Edge artificial intelligence. Data governance for self-reliant India. Digital India transforming governance and society. India's email service, citizen@indiamail.com in 22 constitutionally recognized languages. Ecosystem architecture for digital transformation. Education system cyber critical infrastructure, seizing opportunities in open innovation and value creation network in the digital world for self-reliant economy, ensuring food safety and compliance through technology. Digital India, urgent need for semiconductor manufacturing in India. Technology investment in agriculture, value chain, role of foreign direct investments. Entrepreneurship and skill development, artificial intelligence design pathways. The rise of platform economy, revisiting value chain governance. The era of automation, industrial robotics, and Industry 4.0, Indo-German perspective of technology transfer, skill gap analysis, and opportunities. Role of artificial intelligence in healthcare, current developments in diagnosis and vaccine research, digital agri-tech and agri-startup perspective, health informatics network value chain, e-health system and beyond, leveraging emerging technology for ensuring transparent and traceable agri and food supply chains, unleash the power of citizen development for enterprise software development, e-governance models towards sustained quality service to citizen backed by technology, Indian MSMEs to adopt Industry 4.0 technology capabilities, urgent need for mentorship and accelerator program, building public digital platform using microservices and APIs, health informatics network value chain, early childhood development and learning, health informatics network value chain, clinical AI, interface between machine learning and health informatics to be made available in every primary health center in the country. Health informatics network value chain, importance of social medicine and community health in the times of health emergency. During the COVID situation, we had a lot of talks on health informatics network value chain. Gravity filter, a simple low-cost solution to the drinking water treatment in rural India. Open source GovTech startup empowering growth with automation. National Digital Twin Program, a need for a robust geospatial infrastructure. Industry 4.0 in MSMEs, benefits of indigenously developed CollabCAD software from National Informatics Center. Mass serialization and anti-counterfeiting solutions to fight illicit trade. Cyber security, risk, challenges and solutions, intelligence approach to reduce the cyber risk. New Internet IPv6 root server toward Atmanirbhar Connected Bharat. Indian startups, reflections, and possible policy intervention needed for scaling up to GRAAM Panchayat. Blockchain and crypto for digital assets platform. Panchayat, pathways for global trade. Robot as a service, leverage technology to solve enterprise global trade. Space startups, connecting to international markets with emerging business models, enabling technologies for future vision. Vivekananda Secondary Education and Skills Development Mega Project, its potential impact on rural entrepreneurship and rural economy in India. Vivekananda Secondary Education and Skills Development Mega Project, its potential impact on rural entrepreneurship and the rural economy in India. The Sports Grail, a digital sports media platform and prospects of Indian sports industry sustainability model at global level. Pharma 4.0, Industry 4.0 applications to pharmaceutical manufacturing, path to a digital transformation. Accelerate and scale non-linear growth through partners ecosystem. Technological renaissance and the human capital, a perspective. Health informatics network value chain, medical outreach, challenges and potential. Beyond COVID-19, revitalizing micro and small enterprises. Project management essentials, launchpad for future CEOs and startups founders. Beyond. Society 5.0, a new society beyond Industry 4.0 and post-COVID-19. Smart village oblique community, African ICT oblique IoT lesson. Digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance. Pragmatic ways for Atmanirbhar Bharat. Democratization of essential services by using sustainable energy as a catalyst. Transforming India through relevant education and vocational training. Digital technology in simplifying citizen life. Online learning during the pandemic and its future. Smart microeconomic zone, pathway for self-reliance at village level. Crime prediction support system. Knowledge management for development partnership to achieve the sustainable development goals of UN and implementing the Agenda 2030. Millet value chain from IoT to blockchain, a traceability roadmap. Aspirational district program in left-wing extremism affected district, a successful model of data-driven governance. Digital agriculture supply chain and trading hub, a geo-economic perspective. Market-driven agriculture, need for development of crop-specific strategies at block level. An open agri network to unlock the $1 trillion plus potential of Indian agriculture with smallholder farmers. Developing rural entrepreneurship to ensure doubling of farmers' income. Leveraging the power of convergence through connecting the dots, agri startups, agripreneurs, and rural innovators, connecting the dots. Agronomy plus AI is equal to precision farming. Doubling farmers' income, imperative of plant health informatics network. Developing commercial breadfruit value chain to help farmers reach high value markets. Commodity value chain creation through agri network and agri AI. Farm to plate, a one-stop agri-tech platform to simplify supply chain and e-commerce needs of food and perishable commodities. Health informatics network value chain and national animal disease reporting system 2012 and beyond. AI, artificial intelligence, and metaverse. Frontiers in workspace, coconut value chain challenges transforming into opportunities. Coffee informatics network value chain, facilitating smallholder coffee farmers into business. Health informatics network value chain, building of one health ecosystem, role of digital architecture. Diversification of fish and fisheries resource management and its challenge in Bangladesh. Data mining on digital agriculture. Drone technology ecosystems, empowering smallholder farmer in India. Fisheries informatics network value chain business plan for fisheries cooperatives to attract investors, making urbanization work for the poor through new technologies, disruptive technologies in precision agriculture, strategy for total development of local areas, Dodala with ICT, digital economy, ways and means to protect and empower for self-reliance, sustainability frameworks and standards for agriculture commodities, a global experience. Today is the 91st edition of this very important webinar series. We will have the talk by Dr. Basavaraju Shreshta, Executive Director, Grassroots Research and Advocacy Movement, Mysuru, on a very important topic, We Will, a social business initiative for rural women. Please, dear participants, please note the keywords: social business, rural empowerment, rural women, millet processing. Atmanirbhar Bharat is the road ahead, is the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi of making India a self-reliant nation, rested on five I's: intent, investment, inclusion, infrastructure, and innovation, based on five pillars, namely quantum jump in economy, infrastructure, one that represents modern India, systems, 21st century technology driven, vibrant demography, and a demand whereby the strength of our demand and supply chain should be utilized to full capacity. We have Digital India program, which aims to transform India into a knowledge-based economy and a digitally empowered society. Digital world is the rise of platform economy. Digital ecosystems are essential for digital transformation in the digital world. 10 emerging technologies making an impact. They are artificial intelligence, 5G, IoT, serverless computing, biometrics, augmented reality, virtual reality, blockchain, robotics, natural language processing, and quantum computing. We have three ecosystems on which we have to work in rural India. One is agriculture 4.0. Next is industry 4.0. Third is society 5.0. We have Digital India, we have Make in India program, Skill India program, Startup India program, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and Mission 2022. And we have 85% of the operational holders, among 14.2 crores, are small and marginal farmers. So we need to have an informatics-led development programs for agriculture and rural development. Government of India has come out with Amrit Call and, a strategic action plan to take India, to convert India as new India on 2047. It is a 25 years perspective plan. and it has a blueprint, and they also have a vision, namely complementing the macroeconomic level growth focus with a microeconomic level all-inclusive welfare focus. This is where today's topic is very important. Amrit called vision for making India new India, which has got that you have a macroeconomic growth, but with microeconomic all-inclusive welfare focus, means growth with the development. That is more important. Promoting digital economy and fintech, technology-enabled development, energy transition, and climate action. Third is relying on virtuous cycle starting from private investment with the public capital investment, helping to crowd in private investment. It's very important. And I also would like to quote what Honorable Prime Minister said on 15th August 2022, 76th Independence Day. He named 5 pillars for India's development, 5 pledges, Panch Pran, goal of developed India, remove any trace of colonial mindset, take pride in our roots, unity, and sense of duty among the citizens. And then we have 15 sustainable development goals, 17 sustainable development goals, and 169 targets to be achieved. 17 sustainable development goals of the United Nations and the Agenda 2030 to attain the future we want. Disruptive technologies and precision agriculture is very important. India is a land of villages. Acharya Vinoba Bhave said, India is largely an agriculture country, having more than 6.25 lakh villages. And agriculture is the main source of food, employment, and income for about 70 to 80% of the people suffering from hunger in developing countries. Climate change has got both the direct and indirect effects on agricultural productivity, including changing rainfall patterns, severe drought, flooding, and changes in the geographical redistribution of pests and diseases. Farmers of India are facing multidimensional problems, price fluctuation, debt, lack of infrastructure, and weather. India's farming community comprises of about 14.5 crores operational holdings, of which 85% farmers have small and marginal size operational holdings. They need timely, location-specific, and personalized information for effective control on production, risk, and then market their produce to identified market opportunities. We have to generate future smart farmers. That is very important. That is the, that means we have to democratize farming. And Honorable Prime Minister said at the 7th Governing Council meeting of Niti Aayog held on 7th August 2022 in New Delhi, I quote, in his opening address, he stressed the need to focus on modernized agriculture, the need to focus on modernized animal husbandry, the need to focus on modernized processing, food processing to become self-sufficient and global leader in the agriculture. Then in his closing remarks, he said each state should focus on promoting trade, tourism, and technology via every Indian mission around the world. The states must focus on reducing imports, increasing exports, and identifying opportunities thereof. And I also would like to quote from the special report on agriculture of State Bank of India, which was released on July 2022. It talks about 2 very important points. India could have 20 to 30 million tenant farmers. 20 to 30 million tenant farmers. It means that whatever scheme you bring it out, whether it is reaching the 20 to 30 million tenant farmers or not, that is very important because they are the part of the food security network. Second one is they are making a strong recommendation. I don't know whether NABARD would have read this report or not. The Kisan credit card scheme should be tweaked to make it a livelihood credit card. So, this is also a very important point. Then I also would like to quote what Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022 talks about the need for digitalization of Indian agriculture system. They have recommended 7 mission mode programs for operationalization at farm level. And in the chapter 10 and volume 12b, they talk about digitalized agriculture, digital transformation of Indian agriculture system, digital transformation and innovation in agriculture by synergizing Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, and Startups India programs for transformational reforms in agriculture sector through smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Digitalized agromet advisories and agriculture risk management solutions. Digitalized, agriculture resources management systems and micro level planning for achieving smart village and smart farming. Digitalized value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized agriculture value chain for about 400 agriculture commodities. Digitalized access to inputs, technology, knowledge, skill, agriculture, finance, credit and marketing, and agribusiness management of farmers. What is needed for the farmer, it should be made available at his doorstep. Digitalized integrated land and water management, and digitalized farm health management for reduction of farmers' loss. Means integrated view of human health, plant health, animal health, soil health, water health, fish health, and environmental health. It is $1 trillion data economy. If you look at the data at a village level through a GIS layer and also having remote sensing, drone technology images, high resolution images. And also it talks about this committee that digitalization of cooperative societies and network of cooperative societies, CoopNet and e-cooperatives, to facilitate governance and operational efficiency in the cooperative structure, which is good for rural India, and social business initiatives for rural women. Topic. The future of India lies in its village, said Mahatma Gandhi. There is an urgency to bring Indian villages to the center stage in the agenda. India, home to 1/6 of all humanity, India, home to 1/6 of all humanity, holds the key to the success of 2030 Sustainable Development Goal Agenda. Sustainable development goals in India are not attainable without a robust rural development program with the inclusion of rural economy. Rural and urban development needs to go hand in hand, not at one at the cost of another. It means that not only smart city, but smart village also have to go hand in hand. And smart city program was launched by our honorable prime minister after becoming Sri Narendra Modi after becoming prime minister in 2014. And the smart village program was visualized in 2002 by me when I was the deputy director general National Informatics Center, and I was not able to operationalize because of various institutional impediments. And if there have been, I asked for one project every state, 28 plus one in Andaman Nicobar Islands. And if it would have been done, then by the time smart city program would have been launched, smart village would have an operational experience of about, about 12 years. We lost it. And smart city and smart village have to go 6.25 lakhs villages. It has to become smart village and smart city. There are 3 pillars of rural employment empowerment, which I would like to quote, which is published on November 7th, 2020. Transformation of rural India. Rural empowerment hinges broadly on 3 pillars. Rural empowerment hinges on broadly 3 pillars, which when put together can work wonders. the three pillars are put together, they can work wonders. And for rural India, which is home to 68% of the nation's people, there has never been more urgent. Which are the three pillars? Community empowerment, community empowerment, partnership, and holistic development. If these three pillars are put together, they can do wonders and they can bring in real rural empowerment. Transforming rural India has perhaps never been so urgent as it is now. We know that rural India is home to more than 68% of the people, country's population, and 72.4% of the workforce, according to Census 2011. And it is projected that post 2050, urban population is estimated to take over the rural population. United Nations 2012 report. And we also know that our urban infrastructure is not equipped to handle this. So you have a rural India, rural empowerment is a very important. Smart villages are very important. For Indian villages to be empowered, the article says 4E strategy is essential. Yeah, 4E is strategy is essential. Which are they? Engage. First is engage with the community members. Second is empower. Empower the community members by building community institution. And then development schemes and programs needed to be executed with full commitment from all partners, including the community. And then once the community is empowered and development programs are executed, you exit the community is a key strategy that ensures the community members take charge of their own community. 4E strategy is very important. This is for building rural development and empowerment, a way forward to build a developed India. This was published in Times of India in June 2022. Rural women, a key to New India's agrarian revolution. This is an article published by Niti Aayog, an advisor and an research fellow. They say that rural women are torch bearers for social, economic, and environment transformation for the new India. Rural women are torch bearers for social, economic, and environment transformation for the new India. And in India, agriculture employs about 80% of the rural women. And empowering and mainstreaming rural women workforce in agriculture can bring paradigm shift towards economic growth. It will enhance food and nutrition security and alleviate poverty and hunger. It will be a win-win situation for achieving sustainable development goals by 2030. Then there are various schemes why it is not synergizing at the village level. Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, National Livelihood Mission, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushala Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kausal Vikas Yojana, Peti Bachao, Peti Padao, Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, etc., has made a significant contribution in creating gender parity and socio-economic empowerment of women in India. Now, rural women are availing access to education, productive resources, capacity building, skill development, healthcare facilities, and diversified opportunities through government beneficiary schemes. Gender mainstreaming in agriculture is very important. As per the Prime Minister's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, Government of India has prioritized agenda of gender mainstreaming in agriculture to provide access to resource oblique schemes to rural women engaged in agriculture and allied sector. National Policy for Women 2016 is an important document which articulates a vision for empowerment of women. And in the agriculture section, it talks about gender equity is an important concern for sustainable agriculture development. Concerted effort will be made to ensure the schemes and programs for training women in soil conservation, social forestry, dairy development, horticulture, organic farming, livestock farming, including small animal husbandry, poultry, fisheries, and etc., are expanded to benefit women working in the agriculture sector. So this National Policy for Women 2016 talks lot of schemes which are related for women empowerment, and I quoted one from agricultural sector. Then I also would like to quote from some of the United Nations organizations relevant advice on rural women development programs. Rural women are key agents for achieving the transformational economic, environmental, and social changes required for sustainable development. But limited access to credit, health care, and education are among the many challenges they face, which are further aggravated by global food and economic crisis and climate change. Empowering them is key not only to the well-being of individuals, families, and rural communities, but also to overall economic productivity, given women's large presence in the agricultural workforce world over. This is from the UN Women website, www.unwomen.org. And also that important partners in UN women's work with rural women include Food and Agriculture Organization, International Fund for Agricultural Development, and World Food Program under the initiative of accelerating progress towards the economic empowerment of rural women. And ILO, International Labour Organization, in its document, it talks about rural women's entrepreneurship is a good business. And it talks about rural women's entrepreneurship can contribute to the economic growth in developing countries and clearly represents an untapped potential. Rural women's entrepreneurship is clearly represents an untapped potential in terms of micro and small enterprises, cooperatives. Evidences from developing countries highlights the importance of non-farm activities in the income generation portfolio of rural households, and so on and so forth. Cooperatives are a prominent form of sustainable enterprise for women in rural area. Cooperatives. Micro and small enterprises offer a number of particular advantages for rural women. Flexible hours, location in or near woman's home, ease of entry, and links with the local markets. A path out of poverty, developing rural and women entrepreneurship. An UNIDO report talks about it. A path out of poverty, developing rural and women entrepreneurship. Building a bottom-up growth strategy. That's what it talks about this document. And this is another things which I thought that I should quote it. Then there is an article which is published in Journal of Rural Studies. That is how to unlocking the potential of rural social enterprises. Rural social enterprise brings significant investments and maintain money in the local areas by selling local products and generating employment. Social enterprise domain offers an integrated approach to tackling interconnected problems of rural communities through drawing on their local resources. Rural Entrepreneurship 2021 was reigning unicorns for India, with the 44 startups reaching the status. While metropolitan cities still contributes the most to this number, rural entrepreneurs are emerging with new and innovative business ideas. Rural areas play a major role in the overall economic development of a country like India. Therefore, rural entrepreneurship helps in the growth and development and facilitates self-employment of rural enterprises. I also would like to quote We Mill, Ekutir social business in the state of Odisha, India's first certified B Corp. Ekutir has led the way in developing data-driven, networked technologies to solve complex societal changes. They are known for co-designing solutions with isolated and marginalized communities. Their approach has made them effective in addressing intractable issues that other technological solutions before them had been unable to resolve. Social enterprise is the key to the well-being and sustainability of rural places and communities. Rural will drive new business models, the power of Bharat and next decade of growth. This is according to an article published in Business Today in on 5th September 2021 by Mr. Ajit Mohan. Rural internet population is growing faster than the urban one, and by 2025, rural India is likely to have a higher number of internet users compared to the urban centers. And why can't we exploit it? And so small businesses does not just contribute 30% to India's GDP. They are also drivers of entrepreneurship and employment. In fact, employment within micro, small, and medium enterprises rose from 23.9 million in 2000 and 2001 to nearly 111 million in 2019 to 20, bringing the next 30 million businesses online. Next 30 million businesses online can put India on the path of explosive economic growth. So it means that by 2030, we needed to put another 30 million businesses online. We have 63 million MSMEs in the country. We have to put them online through Industry 4.0 technology. Rural enterprise in India there are different forms of rural enterprises, which are community-based organization, self-help groups, and cooperatives. These companies are beneficial for the rural economy.
Professor,
For
when I will be let into speak, may I know it
just
is
just
time.
another 2 minutes, another 2 minutes, and community-based organizations, self-help groups, and cooperatives. And to address the issue of human equality and uplift their social status, the government of India has made a concerted effort by way of laws, plans, and programs in various spheres, with the realization that the way forward to shift the focus from welfare to development, the women's empowerment has gained recognition as the core issue in uplifting the status of women. According to the website of GRAAM.org.in, We Mill, a social business initiative for rural women. It talks social business is a novel concept that addresses both the social as well as economic benefits. Based on the social business model, GRAAM with View Electronics has crafted and executed a project called We Mill. We will have a detailed discussion by Dr. Basavaraju Shreshta in this program. With this background, let us now turn to the address by our guest speaker, Dr. Basavaraju Shrestha, Executive Director, Grassroots Research and Advocacy Movement. Today's topic will motivate and galvanize the participants watching our telecast through facebook.com/Shobhit University India or youtube.com/Shobhit University in or linkedin.com/company/Shobhit-University. This talk will be on rural social business and their We Mill India initiative. Let us unlock the opportunities in India at the earliest. Let us create many NGOs to promote social business initiatives for rural women in collaboration with GRAAM. Let me introduce the guest speaker to the audience. Mr. Manish, Dr. Basavaraju Shrestha is a public policy and a development professional, having diversified experience in research and evaluation, teaching and training, strategic consultation, public policy development, project design and implementation. He has an experience of working both at the grassroots level and policy level, and with all the four sectors in the development: community, government, corporate, and civil society organization. His primary research interests and expertise are learning, skill development and livelihood, rural and social business, employment of persons with disability, corporate social responsibility, governance, and youth development. He is involved in various policy making, advisory committees formed by the government and corporate organizations in India. He played a key role in establishing GRAAM as a credible public policy research institute. GRAAM is Grassroots Research and Advocacy Movement. GRAAM which was just an idea and initiated as an experiment, derived under his leadership to become a national level organization having a footprint in over 14 states. In the last 10 years, GRAAM handled over 70 research consulting projects, developed a partnership with the 10 international universities and institutions, and over 16 Indian government, NGOs, and academic and corporate organizations. He played a vital role in conceptualizing and implementing several academic and capacity development courses, including public policy and program evaluation workshop implemented in collaboration with Cornell University, USA. He is currently Executive Director of GRAAM. And I would like to request Dr. Basavaraju, Shreshta, the audience in the international webinar series on open source digital technologies for self-reliant India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, on a very important topic, WeMill, a social business initiative for rural women. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Very informative and wonderful. The background you have set for this talk, Professor Moni. In fact, you have in a way reduced my burden on speaking about the topic by taking us all of us through various aspects of rural economy and rural development. Anything you wanted to say, Professor?
The voice is slightly going down, so just speak to near to the mic.
Yeah, I think so this basically before getting into the topic, I would like to take you all through a very brief introduction of GRAAM. As you said, we believe in people's voice should be heard by the policymakers, and what we at GRAAM trying to do is to bring in a systematic way of communicating people's voice through a scientific research to the policymakers, so that their voice can be reflected in public policies in India. I would request Manish ji to take us through a very brief introductory video of GRAAM.
This story begins with a problem in need of a resolution. Dr. Balu was constantly troubled by policy decisions at the macro level, lacking voices from the grassroots for whom policies were being made. In 2011, GRAAM was thus conceptualized and incubated as a bridge to combine empirical research with grassroots development experience in advocating for policy change. To address all areas of human development, GRAAM thematized its work into governance and democratization, learning, skill development and livelihoods, health and wellness, and indigenous community development. Under these themes, GRAAM has been offering services including development research, strategic consultation, community consultation, policy engagement, social impact assessment, and short-term academic programs. Through its 10 years of developmental research, GRAAM has grown its footprint to 14 states across the country, striving to become the first choice public policy think tank in India's social sector.
GRAAM's research and advocacy success in public health include projects like assessment of Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, Arogya Shreni, an award-winning community monitoring initiative, World Health Organization's demand-side assessment of primary healthcare, and a study of enabling prescription and dispensing by mid-level health workers and nurses. Projects in education include Sugamya Shiksha, and action research strengthening public schooling system, and evaluation of free bicycle scheme for higher secondary school students in Karnataka. Governance and democratization include knowledge, attitude and practices study for the Election Commission of India and Human Development Report for the districts of Kodagu and Kolar in Karnataka. Learning, skill development and livelihoods include impact evaluation of self-help groups for people with disabilities and evaluation of skill development programs of Government of India and Karnataka. Strategic consultation for CSR include community needs assessment and CSR planning and impact evaluation of CSR programs of Toyota Kirloskar and Titan Industries among others. Strategic consultation for governments include a Vision 2025 document in skill development, livelihoods and rural development, a roadmap of social enterprise ecosystem for a viable social stock exchange in India, and Center for Democracy, a sweep museum and capacity building center by the Election Commission of India.
GRAAM has impacted millions of lives by authoring 4 public policy and state vision documents and 12 significant policy suggestions. GRAAM's policy work has been possible through 80 plus projects in partnership with 55 state institutions, corporates, and CSOs. Collaborations with 33 Indian and 14 international academic institutions. GRAAM so far has housed 130 plus interns in a holistic development program and at government schools has impacted over 10,000 children across Karnataka. GRAAM has earned a national and an international award as well. All of this is made possible by a versatile board of trustees, a committed leadership, a dedicated research team, a driven project management and strategic consulting team, a multidisciplinary pool of empaneled consultants, an on-ground community consultation team, a strong network of grassroots NGOs, and immersive national and international academic collaboration. GRAAM, a social research and policy engagement initiative.
Thank you very much for that opportunity to take you all through GRAAM. Professor Moni in his introductory talk said about what Mahatma Gandhi said about villages of India. So our country lives in our villages. But he also said, which is in a way an inspiring as well as thought-provoking a statement for us to initiate a rural social business. He said, and I quote, "Poverty is the worst form of violence." And those who have seen poverty, experienced poverty at the grassroots from close corners, and have seen the worst faces of poverty, understands how real and powerful this statement is. So there cannot be any violence other than more than poverty that happens on the people in the grassroots actually. And Vivekananda said, and it is the mission statement we have taken: go from village to village, do good to humanity and to the world at large. That's what Swamiji said, and that's where we believe in. So it is all the more important to work at the with villages and with the communities at the grassroots. I would consider these two as kind of an inspiration and thought-provoking statements for us to think about a rural social business and working with women. While working at the development sector, what at least I have understood by interacting with learned professionals like you and also reading through various scholars, development is in a way difficult to define, but I have tried to understand it as it's a means to augment capabilities of society and persons. It is all about creating opportunities and options, so the person or the group of community can make an informed and appropriate choices. But let me take you through the story of Ratnamma. Uh, Let us see whether she had a choice. It's not a concocted or imaginary story. I'm only changing the name of a person for the sake of identity, but otherwise, it's a true story of our own beneficiary, our own stakeholder women who's part of social business initiative. Ratnamma was married at the age of 16. Again, whether she had a choice, we don't know. She was forced to, or kind of had to marry at the age of 16 when she was not even probably understanding what exactly a marriage means. She soon became mother of two lovely children. But unfortunately, like many instances you find in our rural areas today, husband is has become a prey for drinking habits and addict to alcohol, and least bothered about the family. But Ratnamma has to thrive her family, and she find an option of going to a seasonal migration to nearby coffee estate, which will fetch her considerably more income. Because even today, I think many of you working at the rural area know the wage discrimination for women and men in our rural areas. So the women are not paid on par with men when it comes to agricultural wage laborers. Thanks to our NREGA, it is in a way regulating wage for rural women, but still we have a lot to cover. Ratnama started migrating to nearby coffee estate. Although she was able to earn a decent wage and save some money for her days when she come back to village. But unfortunately, it's at the trade off of her own children's education, trade-off with other social challenges. The challenges a single woman migrates to another new place and works there. So there's a lot of other socio psychological issues she has to go through. But she had no choice. Like Ratnamma, there are many women, rural women, who are going through a difficult forms of poverty, absolutely have no choice either to migrate or to compromise with other social development they have to probably go through. This is one of the reason why we thought about a rural social business, particularly keeping women in mind. As Professor Moni already explained, taken us through rural economy and its feature, still we have a huge dependence on agriculture. Population density is high. We have both unemployment as well as underemployment problem. Sometimes our farmers and our the rural women are fully employed or more employed, but most of the times they are underemployed because agriculture is a seasonal activity in our rural area even today. And poverty, indebtedness, low income is one of the unfortunate features of rural economy. And dualism, you'll find extremes of poverty and extremes of wealth that can be found in the rural area. And inequality and migration is the common feature of our rural economy. When it comes to rural livelihood, why should we think about rural livelihood? Because we were an agrarian economy. As long as we are doing good, and when it comes to agriculture, we didn't have to think about alternative forms of livelihood. But these statistics will tell about why do we need to think of alternative forms of livelihood for the people in the rural area. Although the poverty rate has nearly halved, falling from 55% to 28% over the 10 years period, last 10 years period, significant number of people in the rural area are living below the poverty line. More than 450 million of the world's 1.2 billion extremely poor live in India. Agriculture sector is shrinking, both in terms of employment opportunity in agriculture as well as its contribution to the GSDP. When it comes to Karnataka, it was around 15% in Karnataka. And growing secondary and tertiary sector also needs skilled human resources. That means there is a transition, there is a diversification need to happen from the primary sector. And income inequality is increasing and causing distress, migration, and undue urbanization. In the introduction, Professor Moni explained with the statistics how undue urbanization is happening, and pressure on urbanization or urban areas is caused actually, and which doesn't have enough infrastructure to take the load of this kind of migration. So we need to create an opportunity at the grassroots level, that the rural areas, for people's livelihood. If there is a decent livelihood opportunities available, why would rural women resort to undue and distressed migration? As you can see, our rural population, it is 69% of people still live in rural area, and 25% is the rural poverty ratio, and labor force participation ratio is 56%. In agriculture, it is 49%, and in those who are self-employed is 52%. Literacy is 70%. Open defecation still we have around 44 to 45%. GSTP growth rate is around 16% in the country when we took the last statistics. This all these instances and statistics shows why do we all need to think about rural livelihood. I have understood rural livelihood with this definition. It's a set of activities a household engages in on a regular basis in order to generate adequate cash and non-cash income to maintain a minimum desired standard of living, both on a day-to-day basis and over a longer period of time. That means there has to be a sustainable livelihood opportunity available for our rural women. But where are we now? We have various national programs and policies. I would like to probably mention our National Rural Livelihood Mission there, which basically designed to alleviate rural poverty by building institutions of poor. What does it mean actually? It's basically to federate for the first level women into SHGs, organize them in self-help groups, and at the second level federate them at the ward level, village level, and the block level, and introduce various livelihood opportunities to them. It is almost nearly a 10 year of introducing National Rural Livelihood Mission. But when I tried to understand where the mission has gone ahead in terms of creating a sustainable livelihood opportunity, at least in the one of the forward districts and the pilot district for the mission in Mysuru, wherein in my study 55% of the respondents shared that they have an employment opportunity for less than 6 months a year, and around 33% reported to have earning below 10,000 per annum, and around 55% reported it's around 25,000. Around 43% of women SHG members have used the credit amount for direct livelihood purposes, and around 51% are using the loan for non-productive activities. The study observed that the respondents' family receiving Social Security pension reduced by 12 to 12.5%, and the reduction in animal husbandry, that is milking activity, is also being reduced in the area where I conducted the study. Evidence gathered in the study shows that SHGs have mainly confined towards credit and thrift activity and failed in a not yet, rather than saying failed, but not yet successful in terms of achieving its objective of creating sustainable and alternative livelihood opportunities for the rural poor. Coming to understand whether it is augmented, whether participation of women in SHGs have augmented their income. Yes, it's in terms of their response. It says around their annual income is around 25,594 as a result of their participation in the self-help groups. But change in family income is reported to be happening at the very slow pace of 40% in the 3 years. That is at 13% of annual average. The change is not significant as the reported per capita income of the district is at rupees 1,12,000 at current prices and rupees 86,000 at constant prices. The income reported by the respondents in 2018 was around 89,000, is much lesser than per capita income of the district. So what I mean to say, their party mere although the women by the recall method by comparing their own incomes in the last 3 years, they said it is growing at the pace of 13% per annum. But when you compare with the district average, so it is not so significant. It is not happening. The participation in SHG appears to be not yielding much change in terms of their income and thereby on their financial capabilities. So that means it is not sufficient to organize them as SHGs, but it is important to provide a sustainable livelihood opportunity. What do you mean by such a sustainable livelihood opportunity? The sustainable livelihood opportunity option should provide, it should enable the women in the rural area to cope up with and recover from external stress and shocks such as natural disasters, seasonal shifts in prices, employment opportunities, and food availability and market trends. Additionally, internally, the family distress due to loss of life of breadwinner. These types of shocks and stresses, the family should be insulated and have built their capability to sustain this, tolerate these shocks and stress. It should maintain or increase the capabilities and assets of the families. It is not dependent on external support. It maintains the long-term productivity of natural resources, and it does not destroy other livelihood opportunities and options. We also try to understand the indebtedness amongst the women participating in self-help groups. Our data, our study reveals that most respondents stated that interest rates for the loans they had taken as 1% per month. However, in Mysuru, respondents stated that for intra-SHG loans, the interest rate was 2% per month. For banks, they stated that interest rates varied between 2% to 3%. Most microfinance institution interest rates were stated to be around 2% per month. That means around 24% per annum. 48 respondents totally, that is 31%, did not know the exact interest rates that was being charged by their loan sources. Most respondents did not know how their interest rates and loan dues were calculated, whether it is on monthly basis or an annual basis. On an average, we found a ratio of indebtedness is 1 to 1 is to 1.5. That means every rural women participating in self-help group invariably has around more than one loan to repay at any point of time. Evidences gathered in the study show that SHGs are mainly confined towards credit and thrift activity. Around 76% took loan thinking that it might get waived off by the government. And around 71% of members partially agreed that they take the loan on the insistence of the family despite they have another source for the loan. And why are women are more vulnerable to the poverty? Because they bear the brunt of responsibilities of taking care of the family in the situation of distress and grave emergencies. The lack of income generating assets, lack of property and rights over property, lack of education and skills, and socio-political conditions like caste, gender, and location they live are some of the reasons for households to get into the poverty trap. And there are cultural practices even today. It could be our local festivals or rituals force people to resort to loan because of the expenditures they have to meet for those following those rituals and practices. Marriage and agriculture expenditures and out of pocket expenditure in terms of health is the major contributors for pushing women into poverty. In nutshell, what we need to now move from, we need to really think to move from mere livelihood to rural wealth creation by following the principles of appropriate and efficient use of local resources to meet the local needs. We need to ensure that the money circulation within the local community, more and more money is to be circulated within the local community, enhancing the control of the local community over its resources, enhancing financial and other assets within the community that they can generate future income streams. We need to develop a wealth creation ecosystem which follows, which enables reducing the risk arising from the vagaries of distant markets faced by poor producers. and also organizing producers so that they have greater control over their livelihoods now and in the future time. Increase the bargaining power of producers. That's the model we need to move from mere rural livelihood, providing them skill and enabling them to, or federating them to, into some activity. We need to move towards wealth creation. So following these principles, like what do you mean by wealth creation? What is the one of the kind of a basis we have taken for while thinking, crafting, and implementing VMIL, one of the social business initiative? It is wealth creation by value addition and forming rural enterprise. So I would like to explain that through these 5 steps processes. In the first step, we need to map agricultural activities and major producers in that particular rural area. That means survey of agricultural producers in the at the cluster level, not at the district level, but we need to think of developing livelihood cluster, probably Hobley level or block level. So as a livelihood cluster. In the step 2, we need to explore value addition possibility for agricultural products in that area. We need to understand the demand for our producers in the area, whether they consume it, whether it is being used for as a raw material by any other enterprises in that particular area. And bulk procuring and processing should be encouraged. The procurement should can happen at the the local level, which I can again I remember my visit to Andhra Pradesh, where in the Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty SERP program, which is government of Andhra and government of Telangana's activity, which I had an opportunity to evaluate as well as study. So where we learned how women's ability to procure required materials, agriculture produce at the local level, even for PDS, and redistribute it is enabled. With by doing that, just that activity, by gross procurement of the local agriculture producers and selling it probably to the external buyers directly, will add one more layer of income to the rural women. So value addition need not be coming out with super fine quality products. It can be a mere cleaning, packing, and grading of agricultural producers and selling to the appropriate buyers. And also next level, thinking of next level products if of opportunity is available. And the step 3, we can think of promoting micro enterprises to process the goods and services, support and handhold federations or groups to open micro enterprise activities. There are various schemes available, as Professor Moni was listing, which is both by governments at the state level, governments at the center, government at the central level. So we need to provide be able to act as a we need catalyst at the grassroots level. What is important at the cluster level or block level is to find that kind of catalyst organizations to play a pivotal role in terms of promoting that micro enterprises, and find local market for the local producers and explore external markets for the products. Collaboration with the private bazaars, mandis, no, it could be when it comes to tribal products, trifed as established on e-market, online market opportunity. Similarly, there are various market opportunities being created by the government also, and subsidiary for established brands providing consumable products as an ingredient. Like, not necessary that we need to create brand all the times. There's something called white labeling is also available these days. Means like you will be producing the products for some other established manufacturer or a brand, so that you need not worry about market shocks and market challenges. You can thrive without thinking about marketing risks. Those of process a model can be required to be followed now if you really want to create a rural wealth. These days, the country is also increasingly talking about social enterprises to social business. Traditionally, we who are working in the social sector were kind of working with a charity objective, primary drivers to achieve social value. We were actually thinking from the charity perspective. So we are dependent on funding from grants, donations, and endowments. And now then migrated into social enterprises. Basically, what it is expected is to get the impact investing, achieve measurable social impact alongside financial returns. Basically, it's kind of a social business. Social enterprises or social business can be defined. It's kind of hybrid model between a not for profit and for profit. In terms of our social values, social ethics, and thinking, it is a social enterprise. But in terms of being sustainable, earning its own revenue, to be a self-dependent, it should follow a business principles. That means we need to think, develop this business following the same business principles, but keeping our social objectives in mind. So to solve the social problems, what is the one simple difference between a for-profit venture and a social business venture is, wherein in for-profit, a commercial venture, all the dividend or money earned is taken by or consumed by the promoters of the business. Here in this case, it is expected that a social business should reinvest the revenue earned to on another similar social business activity to solve the social problem. That means we go on creating such institutions to solve the local social issues. Social issues could be your income, poverty. Social issues could be on your sanitation, hygiene. It could be on education. How you create social business or social enterprises to be self-dependent on their own revenue and keeps addressing the local social issues. And to summarize, social business is all about started with the social interest, addressing social issues, and it is based on not based on profit model, but it is based on a revenue model, and major portion of the dividend is reinvested for solving a social issue. Like as defined by Professor Yunus, social business is created and designed to address a social problem, a non-loss, a non-dividend company. It is financially self-sustainable. And when we thought of this initiative, so the model we kept in mind is to firstly think about appropriate target group, who should be the prime stakeholder or a beneficiary of this institution, a women entrepreneurs of Mysuru district. And location, it should be, of course, without any doubt, it should be in a rural area, but it should be having the most potential to run the social enterprise based on the local, the millets available or agricultural products available. Capacity building is one of the activity or important phase in establishing social business, wherein, because as we know, our rural women are not business from the business families, are from the business mindset. They're all agriculture families and agriculture, wage earners rather than salary earners. Actually, we need to build their capacity in terms of learning based on four pillars, like their head, heart, body, and soul should be integrated in working on this model, and experiential learning to be the focus, and focus on entrepreneurial technical skill set should be imparted in this phase actually. An enterprise establishment, support services to be provided, and monitoring and hand holding is something is required while you are establishing a social business. So these are all the various processes should be followed. In other words, we have followed in establishing VMIL as a social business entity. From product identification to market study to understand whether there is a potentiality to the products in the both in the local area as well as in the market we intend to sell this product at, and community mobilization and ecosystem development, uh, business plan creation by participatory way, like by involving local women and local stakeholders in developing that business plan. And entrepreneur identification and selection is one of the critical factor. I would like to mention here that unlike other SHG based initiative, our women entrepreneurs are not drawn from single SHGs. They were from 8 to 10 different SHGs, but they were purely based on the need, because not all the members of same SHG would be in need of livelihood support, or they're interested to take up any livelihood activity. In my little experience, what I've found is many a times SHG based livelihood initiatives are failing because sometimes, after some point of time, women fall apart because all of them are in not in equal needs and requirement of the livelihood activity. But when you really identify women based on their true need as well as interest, And whether we agree or not, their family dynamics and family support is important for women to participate in a livelihood activity, especially when it is happening in their own villages. So there is a lot of social dynamics we need to keep in mind while we are engaging the women at the same villages in the rural livelihood activity. So that's a very crucial phase. In fact, in our model we took nearly 8 to 9 months to screen women. Which started from like when we initially mobilized, it was around 50 to 60 members, which finally ended up in 14 women showing extreme interest and as well as need to take part in the rural initiatives. And production unit should be established. That is the next process. And entrepreneurship development and technical training program is required. I would normally suggest entrepreneurship development to start with, and then we take them to the technical training programs. And product certification accreditation is important. When we produce in rural area, doesn't mean that it need not follow any of these standard production parameters. We need to have a quality parameters. We need to have an accreditation parameters. And creating seed capital or a working capital for the women is something required. Marketing channel identification and branding, if the product has to be marketed using its own brand, should be thought through. Sample production should be done, and then product promotion campaign should be carried through. And documentation follow up and hand holding, sustaining, and product positioning and market establishment is the various steps in establishing rural initiatives. I would like to now take you through a journey of VMIL establishing based on the wealth creation principles what I have mentioned, considering the various needs. We at GRAAM, with the support of Wood Electronics India, initiated a rural business a model called VMIL with the brand name VMIL in the rural Mysuru. This video will take you through the journey of VMIL from its inception. Manish ji.
ಬೇಕೇರಲ್ಲೇ ತಾಯಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಗವ್ವಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬೆಂಕಿಪುರ ಚಲಹಳ್ಳಿ ಪಂಚಾಯತಿ ಗ್ರಾಮ ಪಂಚಾಯತಿ ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಗವ್ವಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆದಾಗ ಯಜಮಾನರು ತೀರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ದಿವಸ ಒಂದು 10 ವರ್ಷದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಂಘಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಅವಳು ನಮ್ಮ ನೀಲ ನನ್ನ ತಂಗಿನೇ ಅವಳು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಅದೇ
ದುಡಿಯೋಕೆ ಇವಾಗ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮದು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿರೋಂಥ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಹೋಗಿ ಅದು ಹೆಸರು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಲಾಭ ತಂದುಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇವತ್ತು ತನಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೋದು ಸರ್ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು. ಅದೇನೇ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆದರೂ ಸಾಧಿಸ್ಲೇಬೋದು. ನಾವು 14 ಜನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ಇದ್ದು ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ನಮ್ಮ ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆದರೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಳ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಕಳ್ಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಭಯ ಪಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನೋ ಎಂತೋ ಜನ ಏನಂತಾರೆ, ಹಂಗಂತಾರೆ ಹಿಂಗಂತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೂ ಅದೇನೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನಾವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ದುಡಿಬೇಕು, ದುಡಿದ್ರೇ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ದುಡಿದ್ರೇ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿಯಾಗಿರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಸರ್. ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ದುಡಿಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಸಂಸಾರ ನೆಟ್ಟಗಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಶಿಶು ಪೋಷಣೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಿಸ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಮಾಲ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಯಾರಿಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕದವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರಿಗೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಂಟರಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂಗಡಿಗಳಿಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅದು ಬೇಜಾರಂತೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ನಾವೇ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಂಗಡಿ
ನಮಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಲ್ವಾ. ಇವಾಗ ಆದರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಯಾರು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗು
Thank you for watching that video. What was started as just an idea, now you can see the products available. I think in the next video, the Manish ji can quickly take us through the various. So look a little simple actually. In a very simple terms, if I have to summarize our initiative, like considering all the challenges our rural women are going through, like in the video, one of our the stakeholder was saying actually, although there is a dire need for women in the rural area to work, considering the poverty they go through, not all the women have an opportunity to go out somewhere, go and work in the nearby enterprises, etc. She says it is very much important for a women of a family to also take a part in economic activity so that the family can thrive. She also said, so we at VMill, we will first produce that products, we consume it our own houses actually. When we find it fit for our consumption, we are offering to others actually. What was just started an idea actually, thanks to the support of premier food technology institutions like CFTRI, Central Food Technology Research Institution in Mysuru. So they helped us to train our the women in technology, the food production, etc., and as well as provided a certification accreditation. The technology, this VMill is now products are being produced with state of art, an excellent tested processes by certified process by CFTRI. All these products are now available are Amazon, Flipkart, Create, those kind of e-commerce platform, and on various popular stores in Mysuru and Bengaluru cities, which we are soon seeing to planning to expand the market actually. So what is unique about this model is the Ragi with the whole social business. What we, as I explained in the social business process, the local agriculture produce was mapped. So in our area, it happened to be Ragi actually. We were not keeping Ragi as a constraint to initiate our social business model. But when we went there and mapped, it was actually an open choice for us actually to create the rural social business model. When we went to this village of Bilikere, we found that ragi is grown locally, and many of the women who take part in that in our own social enterprise are from the rural agriculture family. They themselves produce ragi. Now they procure ragi from the local farmers. That means an assured market is established for local farmers, and fixed price is also available for local farmers. They value add that. They first level they sell the cleaned ragi. Second level they powder it and sell the powdered ragi flour. And third level they go on doing value addition. And every stage of value addition we are deriving one product. Like when you add a couple of components to the product, that is one product. Then add further more value to the product, it becomes, say for example, our children's weaning food available, malt available, and instant ragi mudde mix available. Ultimately this is one initiative. But when we go on expanding this model, there can be an hub and spoke model can be tried, wherein we mill and a production unit can become a hub, and processes can be outsourced to various spoke groups. That means SHGs in the village areas to do the by outsourcing some of the products and processes. Then VMill can, in terms of its own impact, it can multiply its benefit. That's what through this model we are striving to create a kind of urban spoke model for rural livelihood initiative, following the principles of rural wealth creation. So I'll stop here. We'll probably take your questions if you have any questions and provide any clarifications. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just 1 minute. Thank you very much, Dr. Basavaraju. And it is a real eye opener that you, being a very experienced non-governmental organization working at the grassroots level, is not only working with the communities, but you are an organization which provides policy, study, and many other associated things, that is a complete value chain. It is, and then you also see to that how to get into the involvement at the grassroots level, that what we speak, how we have to convert it as an actionable plan, which you have done it, and it is a real eye opener. And I have been, that I felt very happy, even though I have taken more time to explain, because the audience has to be trained on that, about the topic which we are going to discuss. So if they don't understand, then it goes as an overhead transmission for them. So I'm very happy that that I was able to give a very sound base for the people to understand. And then when you started talking about what is the ground reality, and it is not like that, based on what's experience, you also talked about a theoretical background, theoretical framework. So that is not a livelihood opportunity, it is a sustainable livelihood opportunity, getting into, that, it is a wealth creation. It is not welfare activity. It's a wealth, creation. It is like that people talk about from agriculture waste to agriculture wealth creation. This is that, you took an area where you talked about you have a livelihood opportunity, and you have a rural livelihood opportunity. From there, how to make a sustainable rural livelihood to get into rural wealth creation, and which you explained a model with 14 women very dynamic woman, because when they talk about, when we watch this, their talk, their interview, even though they spoke in local language, but their expression is very clear that what they have achieved, the smile in their face, and the confidence in which they were talking, that is what is needed for this country. You can't expect everything from the bureaucrats sitting in the government building. And that's why I was quoting lot of reports, both nationally and internationally, that essence has to come down at the grassroots level, and a synergization has to take place, which you have done it through your study, through your organization, and the name is very good, GRAAM. It is the grassroots level advocacy is more important. And that you said it, that you explain a problem identification, and then it gets mapped for developmental activities, and then what else is necessary, because if the people follow this and then get on to the grassroots level activity, they will not be failing in their activity. There will not be any failure. And that way, that you talked very nicely, that you started with two important personalities which India revere them like anything. One is Mahatma Gandhi, another one is Swami Vivekananda. He talked about that, what Mahatma Gandhi said it and what Swami Vivekananda said it, and you take that as the the principle for which you to walk. You go from village to village, find out what is really happening, and then this is Mahatma Gandhi said it, that the road for development of nation goes through the village. And there the important ingredient is that you look at the poverty which is prevailing over there, and it is the worst form of violence. And these two things are very important. And I also, during my introduction, I talked about that smart village and smart city have to talk to each other. And Abdul Kalam, our former president of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam, said it, that provision of urban facilities, amenities in rural area. And then by 2050, according to the estimation projection by United Nations, that the urban population will exceed rural population, and urban structures will get really pressurized, and you have to make smart rural area has to have all the facilities which we think that it has to be there in urban area. But rural India, especially in India, rural India is known for, villages are known for sustainable development, sustainable livelihood. Centuries together, they have been practicing it. And they know that rural, local utilization, appropriate utilization of natural resource, they don't exploit it. That's why in 2001, when I associated with the Bhuvigan Vikas Foundation, when I was the Deputy Director General, we had as the Secretary General, we organized a lot of international conferences. First one was sustainable lifestyle and sustainable development. And India is known for that. Indian villages are known for that. And of course, Green Revolution made us to get into other crops. But this millets is a real food security, nutritional security, and so on and so forth, which India rural area had achieved previously that. And I'm very happy that there is an operational project. A project can be, with experience. These 14 women can be a real teachers to train the rural youths. And this is an important thing that, and you also put it in your title, the significance of rural livelihood development. And the rural livelihood, it has to move to rural wealth creation as an operational project, operational example, and workable example, which you put it. And through 5 steps, you are also given a theoretical background that
how to go about it. It's not that you have you taken a loan from bank and you wanted to spend it. Don't do that. You say that you go in a very systematic manner. The 5 steps which you talked about it, that explore external markets, is the major, you map your major agriculture activities, and also that where the products can be sold, and then also that in every stage what type of value addition you can do that, and also that promote micro enterprises, and even in the third tranche of Atmanirbhar Abhiyan, that promotion of micro food food enterprises is a very important thing. That, and then you see local markets for the product, and then explore the external markets. And it is an appropriate time that also I would like to discuss with you. After I conducted, today is the 91st edition of this webinar series, and Thursday I conduct National Webinar Series on Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022. That I completed by day before yesterday, 92. Then, we talk about the different problems, what is needed, and how rural youths can be motivated. And, and this is, giving a lot of confidence. And many people have signed an MOU with the university, with the 5 centers of excellence to work together. Our interest is that we should promote one digitally enabled, agricultural commodity value chain in every district. We got 753 districts in the country. And then operationalization of Doubling Farmers' Income Committee recommendation, Dr. Ashok Dalwai's committee. I was closely associated with that for 2 volumes as a subgroup leader. And then digital technology and agriculture, how to do that, smart irrigated farming, smart rainfed farming, and smart tribal farming. Then I thought that, from the university side to work with the NGOs, and next year is International Year of Millet, 2023. And President of India, Madam President of India, is from the tribal community. So in order to make a presentation to her next year and the International Year of Millet, so from the Shobhit University, now we are working with the NGOs. We have identified a cluster of 10 villages, which you model. Yeah, I'm very happy to know that you talked about cluster of villages and you adopted it. And starting from Gujarat, a cluster of 10 village, tribal village, Maharashtra, a cluster of 10 tribal village, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. And to have, about 100 acres of land in the, tribal area, where it was 40 years back, they were growing millet, but they have abandoned. And how to make that smart tribal farming techniques to be adopted, and then bring complete and integrate with the global value chain by doing appropriate capacity building. What you have done it, you already proved it. And this, I thought that as from the university and along with the startups and NGOs who signed a MOU with the university, I also would like to request you that let us sign an MOU between the Shobhit Institute of Engineering Technology and with you. And our interest is that operationalization of Doubling Farmers' Income by 2022, digital technology in agriculture, and also that for next year is being an International Year of Millet, and also to operationalize smart tribal farming, which people don't talk about it. They have a tribal sub-plan, but the thing is that tribal agriculture is sustainable and support nutritional security. Why can't we make it as a discipline? And that's how this exercise, which I have now done it, I have made a presentation to Ministry of Tribal Affairs last month. They said that, Prof. Moni, it's very nice that it is an operationalization of our Honorable Prime Minister's Sri Narendra Modi's vision on doubling farmers' income and also smart tribal farming. And please present this proposal through the state level, and we will consider and we will see to that how this can be promoted at the grassroots level. And this exercise is going on. I will also, you please nominate some senior person. I will also put it in the Smart Tribal Farming WhatsApp group. And every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, we discuss. And this is very important. And you also, we will promote, and with your support, the model which you put it. And for this, the clusters of this project in starting from west coast to east coast and the central part of India. And this we should demonstrate it and make it available with the global value chain. And let us produce that type of quality product which you said it. And I also felt very happy that the 14 women, what they produce, they also consume. That is more important. The thing is that, you don't have a different variety that for a extra world market and your own local market. We also produce what the world population which needed to go through all these, sanitary and phytosanitary conditions and so on and so forth. That is very important. It's a good, example which you talked about it, that, and it is a very important, talk today. I'm very happy about it. That's why I thought that to promote, to make many, participants, rural youths to get into social business, entrepreneurship. I thought that I should also explain properly. And then Dr. Basavaraju's experiment, GRAAM's experiment, is to be, rooted properly. And then let us see to that we can work together, so that these experiments, social business, entrepreneurship is deep rooted. We have 400 agriculture commodities, 14.5 crore operational holders. They should be the wealthiest people, and they should be the part of the value chain. And middleman should not be taking away all the profits. And since the farmer produce it on their own land, they should get the maximum profit, and they should sustain it, and they should not come out of the farming activity. If they come out of the farming activity, India is the country which has got 365 days sunshine and 127 agroclimatic zone. We can produce food for the whole world with the 14.5 crores operational holders, and is equivalent to 29 countries we produce it. And this is very important, that today's topic is a social business initiative for rural women. That's why I quoted what ILO said it, what UN Women Organization said it, what FAO said it, what our own, various, articles said it, and what university is doing it, and what GRAAM, as an NGO, what you are doing with real grassroots level research, policy studies, which you examined very nicely that. And there is a, feedback comes from Shiva Kumara. GRAAM is working a great job to the community empowerment. Thank you. Very nice that. Thank you, Mr. Shiva Kumara. Anjali Lokare, informative webinar, and thank you very much. Thank you, madam. Thank you. And I would like to hear from you, Dr. Basavaraju, your final remarks and how we should work together, both of the, the centers of excellence of the Shobhit Institute of Engineering and ARDO and the GRAAM, how we can work together so that what we do, it also goes to all the 34 member countries or 32 member countries of the ARDO, and also that 753 districts, 6,500 blocks, and 6.25 lakhs village level. Our interest is to create an agri-tech, deep tech startup in every Gram Panchayat. It means that 2.25 lakh agri-tech startups in the country to help our 14.5 crores operational holders. Over to you, Dr. Basavaraju. Then I will.
Thank you so much, sir. Firstly, thanks for that offer to collaborate with GRAAM through an MOU. We would be keen if it is certainly yielding. It's going to yield any productive result to the people at the grassroots and demonstrate some model. We are always keen to collaborate. The GRAAM's mantra is creating collaborative learning community in the pursuit of human development. That's what the mantra we have taken up actually. So we are keen to collaborate, provided it certainly has a concrete output to derive from. That's number one. Secondly, I think it is only imperative, it is only very needed to think about rural livelihood and rural wealth creation models. When country have an create keeps a goal of achieving $5 trillion economy, want to be Atmanirbhar Bharat, it cannot be only through the manufacturing houses in the urban areas, and it is through our rural areas. In fact, why our agriculture sector is not thriving, it is only because lack of choices for the farmers and diversified environment, like our value addition opportunities at the local area. I think if this structure is created, the value addition things are created at the structure level, doubling farmer income agenda can also be easily achieved, and and we can see in at least in our lifetime. Certainly, we have been talking about contributing to the farmers' income, but it should not only remain in slogans, but mere through only supporting the farm sector and added subsidies. That doesn't take them in a long way. That is also important, but at the same time, value addition at the local level will have a double advantage of both helping farming sector as well as women participation in labor force. It has got gender advantage. We will be also achieving many sustainable development goals by creating rural enterprises, rural social business units involving women. That's something I would certainly believe in. And there are many more agencies like Shobhit universities, GRAAM, come together to experiment these models in various countries. See, we could, with all our expertise and limitations, we could just start doing it from scratch in one or two areas. But now at least we have a kind of a process, a concept, which is tested, experienced. Actually, at GRAAM, we are happy to offer it to other like-minded organization, mentor them, support them, be it capacity building, etc. Not necessarily only in India and abroad. So I can collaborate in offering such knowledge to the larger good of communities in the rural area. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. And you can see that, with my vast experience in the government and also as a technocrat, now joining with the university, I thought it is my prime responsibility to co-create solutions.
Yep.
And cooperation, connectivity, because in lifelong I have been working for e-governance systems by working with 520 districts. Way back in 87, I was the project director for district information system program, then 95 IT in agriculture. Now that towards this, after retirement, I joined the university, and this is the first university in the whole world to have a center for agricultural informatics and e-governance research studies, and MTech in agricultural informatics, BTech in agricultural informatics, and then MBA in agribusiness management, and also to promote Industry 4.0 through Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies to 60, SMEs, CEOs of SMEs. And we concentrate agriculture, SMEs, health, and digital technology. How to bring in this technology enablement in the rural area. So this is very important, and I'm very happy that by joining with the organization like yours, vibrant organization like yours, we can walk, towards villages. What I would like to say is that quote once again, what the former chairman of Hindustan Unilever said it. I always quote it. He said it in their shareholders meeting in 2012. If adopting technology in rural management, rural India can give $1.8 trillion to the existing GDP in 2012. Now you add all these dollar evaluations and so on and so forth, and even if rural India is with the adoption of technology and appropriate use of natural resources, our economy can easily cross $10 trillion. And we don't have to have an gradual jump. You can easily do that. And it's a 6.25 lakh villages, and it is not a 29 states boundary. And this is very important, and I'm very happy that's why this is the only university to have a weekly webinar on national and international webinar to bring all our NRIs together, experts from India together, and let us co-create solutions. And it's very important, and internet unites us very nicely. So thank you very much. I will send you a 2-page MOE copy. Please go through that. Let us sign together. And I also include you in the Smart Tribal Farming WhatsApp group. Let us also join together, and let us see to that, if it is a smart tribal farming, I wanted to make it as a global center in India.
Thank you,
That
sir.
is an idea. That is very important. And we should storm the world. That India, if India has to become a Vishwa group, every aspect we should do that. The whole world should get benefit out of it.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why you gave a very example. You were 14 women. We mill women, and they produce, and the value added product they consume. That is very important. First, consumer is they themselves, that, and that is very important. And I would like to, and I thank you very much for taking your time from your busy schedule, and hope that today's webinar, our discussions will create a positive step towards, from moving from rural livelihood to rural wealth creation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, I would like to thank your participation, and also would like to, send our greetings from the Shobhit University. For more research inquiries, please contact Professor Moni Maraswamy, Professor Emeritus, Chairman for Center for Informatics Development Solutions and Applications, Center for Industry 4.0 Technology Studies and Application. We thank our Honorable Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor, His Excellency, Secretary General Ardo. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. We close the